Yo, 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 it's the Roller Coaster Show where every day there's a brand new thrill ride in this theme park that we like to call America. Now say it with me, America. Thank you. And I'm your host, Man J. Raw. All right, keep it down. Keep it down. All right. Anyway, how we doing today, folks? We good? Feeling good? If not, you better do something for yourself. Cause ain't nothing out here gonna make you feel good. So it's up to you to choose that happiness. You either choosing happiness or sadness. Which one? But anyway, a few things I wanted to talk about. It's kind of old. Well, it's old to us because we move on to things so fast. But it was really a topic from about 3 weeks ago. Coach Prime. It was all that was the talk of the town. Everybody talking about what Coach Prime doing and if he's staying at Jackson State or if he's staying at Colorado or if he's going to Colorado. So a lot of people just been talking about it. So it's two sides to it at this point. Some people believe that, hey, that's a power move. You know what I'm saying? And he need to do what he has to do. And then other people believe that he sold out. And that kind of made me scratch my head because I'm like, how you gonna call that man a sellout? You know what I'm saying? So first thing first, let me say it like this. I've been watching Jackson State for a few years. You see, I kind of fell back from the NFL when that Kaepernick situation happened. So I kind of fell back from the NFL and I randomly seen some videos of Coach Prime down at Jackson State. So I kind of started following the program, just watching YouTube videos. I didn't know that it was going to blow up like they were. I didn't know the team was going to be as good as they were. But nonetheless, I've been paying attention to it for a minute. So when I heard them calling him a sellout, I'm like, yo, that's kind of harsh. Especially for everything that he had to go through while he was down there. You know what I'm saying? And I don't really think a lot of people take that into account. Like, are you really, anybody that got a problem with Coach Prime leaving and going to Colorado, you are a stagnant type person. You have to be a stagnant type person. You're stuck in your same box. I know you haven't left away from your city that you grew up in. You know what I'm saying? You're stuck right in a box. And that's your mind frame too. It's a box mind frame because you're not thinking about expansion, and just for example, I could just peel back the layers of this, but when Deion said, when Coach Prime said he was going to Jackson State, he said God called him. He said God called him to do that. Not you, not the culture. I heard people saying, oh, he's supposed to stay at Jackson State for the culture. The culture didn't call him. He didn't come down here for the culture. Now, true indeed, he made statements to say, oh yeah, you can come to the HBCUs and you should be able to get done right and you should be able to get scholarships and exposure to the NFL, and that's what he did. He facilitated that environment down there. He facilitated that. He brought college game day down there. You know what I'm saying? He got his school got sponsored. They got outfitted by Under Armour. The turf, the whole stadium, or excuse me, the turf, the grass, that was paid for by Walmart. You see what I'm saying? The locker room, he paid for the locker room. So there was a lot of things that got done down there, and it facilitated, and he pretty much made that environment so college students could come down there and get exposure to the NFL. And the thing about it is he never came down there saying that he was a civil rights leader. So people thinking that that's what he's supposed to do, be a civil rights leader and just, lead the way. Like, come on, man. Y'all got to cut it out. Like, seriously, y'all got to knock it off. It don't make no sense. The man was getting paid $300,000. First of all, let me say it like this. He could have started off as an assistant coach at a Power 5 school off the jump and got paid probably, I don't know, close to $1 million just off the jump without even dealing with Jackson State. But he decided to go to Jackson State. His salary from what sources say, his salary was $300,000 to $500,000, and they say that he gave back almost half of that salary just so it could go back to the football program because he knew what the football program needed, And he also put his own money in. Like I said, he put his own money into it because he paid for the locker room. He paid for all that. When the team would go hit the road and he was paying for their food, paying for their lodging. And the one of the problems that he was having, see, if you're not paying attention, if you just, caught up in the hype and you make that statement to say he's a sellout, you're not really paying attention to what he was dealing with when he was at Jackson State. So there was times like he had it in his contract that if Jackson State sold more than 30,000 tickets, then he would get a percentage of the ticket sales. Well, what was happening was the stadium would be sold out. I mean, you can look at the film, you can look at it and see all the seats are mostly filled up, and it would be 60,000 seats. But when you go look at the ticket sales, it's 28,000. Now, that's pretty much taking money out of his pocket because he was supposed to get that percentage. He brought the people out. You know what I'm saying? Not to say Jackson State didn't have a following before, but he brought more people out, and that's a fact. That's a fact. But he wasn't getting, the money like he was supposed to get. And even with that, it said that the school was taking that money, that the football team was generating, and they were taking that and putting it towards general funds and scholarships, which was taken away from the team again because ultimately they needed that money. They need that money because they had to go on every time they go to travel. They need money for food. They need money for housing. They need money for the travel itself. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the team was generating money and they need money, but the school was suppressing that. And that's the problem. Not to mention all the thievery that was going on while he was there. People breaking into his locker, breaking into his coach's office while he's at the game. He's coaching a game and somebody is breaking into his office, stealing all his watches. Like, come on, man. His sons, they breaking into his sons' cars, stealing all the stuff out their cars on campus. This stuff is happening on campus, So he's dealing with that. This is consistent. What about when they didn't have water? You know what I'm saying? That was a whole city issue right there. But they had to deal with that, man. And that's a lot. That's a lot to go through. That's a lot to sacrifice. And y'all telling that man that he's supposed to keep going? Like, how you gonna have a plan for his life? Like, seriously, like, think about that. How you gonna tell this man that he's supposed to be, what he's supposed to do? I ain't gonna say y'all, we barely got plans for our own lives. So how we gonna say what Deion's supposed to be doing? How we gonna say what Coach Prime's supposed to be at? That don't even add up. That don't add up at all. And it goes back to, I thought the magnifying glass to other HBCUs. And I talk about Howard, for example. Last year, Howard had, a bunch of students occupying their buildings, like during a protest, because the living conditions were so deplorable. You know what I'm saying? They got rats and roaches in there, in the rooms in their dorms. Like how you supposed to live like that? Mold. Multiple people saying they coughing up blood at Howard, and they paying $50,000 a year or they paying $50,000 for tuition. Like how are you supposed to live like that? Like it don't make sense. But 2 years ago, Mackenzie Scott, Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, the one that got like half or a good percentage. I don't know how much she got, but she got a good percentage of money. She donated $40 million to Howard. She donated like $400 million to the HBC, to different HBCUs collectively. But she donated that money. So at the end of the day, these schools are going to handle money the way they handle it. And it's not up to Deion to make the schools better, to make the HBCUs better. He did his job. He did enough, honestly. And in his interview with Shannon Sharp, he told the athletic director he was only going to be there for 3 years. Or the athletic director said he asked Deion to stay there for 3 years, and he obliged that. What more do you want? How can you hate on that? How do you hate on that? Why do you hate on that? That man has 5 kids. 5 kids. You know the one thing I didn't mention throughout this whole speech? Coach Prime almost died. Like last year. He had to get 2 of his toes amputated and a part of his leg cut out. That dude almost died. Like, do y'all understand? He has kids. We don't know what his finances are. Yeah, we know he got paid. But his drive is different than our drive. He got a whole different outlook. How can you sit there and say this man wasn't supposed to take that job where he's pretty much almost the highest paid college coach? Rightfully. I don't understand that. I don't understand the hatred. I don't understand that. And like I say, matter of fact, I do understand that. I overstand it, because the people that's giving it, they're stagnant people. You gotta have a stagnant mind state to think that. You gotta have a stagnant mind state to think that a man is just supposed to stay there. Come on, man, it's not for the culture. What was the culture doing before? What was y'all doing when the students were out there at Howard? Where was the culture at? I didn't see the culture coming out there to clean up the buildings, get that water and that mold out there. I didn't see the culture doing that. Yeah, some people showed up, some news cameras showed up, but the people making these statements about, Deion, what was y'all doing for the culture then? But now, because it's about a football, now y'all calling the man a sellout after all he did, after all he's doing for his kids. Like, we should take that as an example. He got all his kids right there with him, or most of them. He got his oldest son as his media, being his content creator. Another 2 sons on the field. His daughter right there. They all moving with him. That's the name of the game, ain't it? That's what I want. I pray I can. It's the day. It comes a day where me and my kids can move as a unit. When we're adults. That's a goal. Yeah, he's showing nepotism. We need to get like that. That's nepotism in its purest form. Bring your kids along. See, I look at stuff like that. Y'all looking at him like he owed the culture something. He don't owe the culture. He don't owe the culture nothing. Because none of us is doing what we're supposed to do for the culture. Because if we were, the culture would be different. You see? So we're not going to just hold him accountable without holding ourselves accountable. Because that don't make sense. Because if you can sit up there and say Deion's supposed to do that, well, you know what? He's supposed to stay at Jackson State. If you feel like that, take half of your salary and donate it to your local HBCU. Whatever you make, whatever salary you make, go take half of that salary and donate that to the local HBCU. And then at least you can kind of get on the same level as him to have the nerve to still speak on him. At least do that. At least. Come on, man. Like, y'all call that man a sellout? You know how degrading that is to call somebody a sellout? Especially somebody that is actually a mentor that helps young black men. And y'all calling him a sellout? Come on, man. Y'all gotta knock it off, man. I don't even know what to say after that. It don't make no sense, man. we gotta do better, yo. Yeah. That's ridiculous. And this roller coaster is over. Peace.